Thank you for continuing in our series for managing certificates in Student Manager. The next aspect we're going to look at is issuing certificates, because we've already covered the creation of certificate templates in our previous video. So, as always, we start on the home page. So for issuing the certificates option is under Reports. So you'll go to Reports and then Certificates. Just an overview of this layout, you'll see that we have certificates and then the ability to search for certificates. So think of this as searching for issued certificates. So anything that you've already given will appear here. What we're going to do is issue a certificate. So I'm going to select, so these are only for search. So we're just going to now create a certificate, and I only have the certificate that I made in the previous video. So now I'm going to search for students to issue it to. There's different ways to search for them. If you've used tags in our system, you'll be able to search by tags. You can look for students in a given group. You can look for students who started together, and you can look for students who are currently active in your program. But more often than not, in a smaller training environment or short courses, you may know which students you need to issue certificates to. So I'm going to look for Peter. So now that I've added him, you'll see him down here. So I'll click Next. So Peter has a certain amount of data already linked to him. And because all that data is there, we can now preview it in the context of what I created. So now when we preview the certificate I made with the accreditation information, the institution title, first name, last name, personal identifier, the number, I just said learner code, and there's his code. Having registered for the program on the 2nd of the 1st, 2020, has achieved the learning program status of, this also comes from the system, achieved through assessment and moderation at our, and that was the campus for the following, and that's the learning program as of that date. I'm using that same date again to call that the date issued, which was his outcome, and saying that this is valid for a year. That feature that we have that auto-generates a unique number, that's the document number over there. So there's a unique number for the certificate, and then the campus manager or the head of the program can sign. Okay, so now I'm going to create it. See, it was, even though that's the outcome, I didn't create it yesterday, I created it today, so there's a date over there. So now if I wanted to, I can select it and then print that certificate. So if I change this criteria and said, okay, for this program last year, let's make it 2019 to December 2019. So there's nothing in that data, but if I change it now to 2020 for that program, there's that learner. Okay, so that is the creation of, and now how to actually issue the certificate. Just a few things to know. This is stored. So if you go back and edit the certificate, it won't update this record of the learner. you'd have to select it and delete it and then issue the certificate again because you've edited the certificate. So only issue the certificate when you're sure the certificate is correct, because it is stored against that date, and that format and layout will be the certificate for that learner forever. So just be certain when you create the certificate, and then everything else should be okay. You can come in here and you can keep reprinting the certificate. Obviously when you print it from here, these like the document number and that won't change because it gets stored, so you can keep reprinting it. Okay, hopefully you found that useful, and you can think of other scenarios which you'd find the certificate feature useful. Thank you for going through this video with us. I hope that you will continue to work through our different series in setting up Student Manager.